It's Thursday, August 21st.
I must reiterate that it is vital to reach immediately a ceasefire in Gaza.
The UN calling for a ceasefire as Israel says the first stage of its assault in Gaza City has begun.
It puts these people, these kids in this incident, in extremely high-risk, dangerous situations without backup training, justification, and backup. It's amazingly dangerous what happened.
Police say an alleged child abduction in Calgary started after at least 7 young people attempted to catch a predator-style scheme to trap a suspect.
What we've done is we're telling people we're going to reimburse you, if you want to book a flight on your own on another carrier.
Okay, so we don't have too many details on how people are getting their money back after the Air Canada strike. We'll bring you what we know coming up. And the Canadian Union of Postal Workers present a new offer to Canada Post as the two sides start talking again. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to your morning, everybody. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
Good morning. Happy Friday Eve. I'm Teddy Wilson.
And I'm Matt Scooby. Kelsey is off today. Good morning to all of you.
They're boys here.
There's boys here.
Taking over this morning.
This is so fun. Matt, I don't think you and I have worked together yet.
We have never actually sat at maybe very early on.
Maybe.
Like in season 1 or 2. But I don't think we had since then. It's been almost 10 years.
It's been so great. I know
season 10 kicks off tomorrow.
That's right. Can you believe it?
It's a
season
treat.
10.
Hey, and look, we're kind of dressed the same a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, we gotta coordinate more tomorrow. It's kind of men's fashion. You just have 2 choices: what shirt and what blazer.
Right.
That's how easy it is. That's how I know.
There was
it's ridiculous.
I believe it was in Australia, and this was years ago. There was an anchor who did a little experiment on the air. Do you remember hearing about this? And he wore the same
jacket. He wore the same
for like
suit
365 days.
It was a whole year long, and wanted to see if people realized, and no one said anything.
Because his point was they comment all the time on what women wear.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And so he was like, listen, I'm going to wear the same thing every day and see if anyone says a thing.
Nobody said a word.
No. So again, you two could wear that tomorrow again. You look great.
We may do that.
Sure.
Actually, that's
You're
not a
giving
bad
me
idea.
permission to do that and not change my outfit tomorrow?
Yeah, I have that authority apparently.
Okay,
so
We're lazy too. All right, thanks for joining us. Let's turn to the top news stories that we're following here for you this morning. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. This as Israel begins the first stages of a ground offensive there.
And the unconditional release of all hostages, and to avoid the massive deaths and destruction that a military operation against Gaza City would inevitably cause.
So Palestinians are fleeing parts of Gaza City where hundreds of thousands of displaced folks have been sheltering. Israel is calling up 60,000 military reservists for the start of September to free up active duty personnel for the operation. Israeli troops have now established a foothold in the outskirts of the city, which their defense minister approved Tuesday. The plan is being put before Israel's security cabinet later this week. Well, the White House is taking aim at judges on the International Criminal Court, including Canadian judge Kimberly Prost.
Judicial independence is a basic principle that must be respected. And these types of measures undermine the foundation of international justice.
Prost has been slapped with sanctions by the Trump administration for ruling to authorize the court's investigation into U.S. personnel in Afghanistan. Judges from Fiji, France, and Senegal have also been sanctioned. Sanctions against those judges stem from the ICC's decision to investigate Israel's actions in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. These sanctions freeze any assets the judges have in the U.S. The ICC responded, saying it deplores the sanctions. The U.S. State Department is calling on the ICC a national security threat and an instrument for lawfare against the U.S. and Israel. Well, police in Calgary say a boy put himself in immense danger after carrying out an alleged to catch a predator scheme.
In my service time of 23 years, I haven't been involved in a similar investigation where we have somebody setting up to catch a predator or anything along those lines. This is a very unique incident.
So this happened in an area near the Cooper's Crossing neighborhood of Airdrie. The police say the boy was part of a group of teens who arranged to meet a man in a van in a vigilante sting to expose child predators. Investigators say the teens met the man on Snapchat. The boy then willingly got into his vehicle and the man drove away with the child before he could escape. The 12-year-old did manage to flee the car at a nearby red light and called 911. A 37-year-old Calgary man is now facing numerous charges, including kidnapping, sexual interference, and breach of conditions. Well, details of that tentative deal reached between the union representing flight attendants and Air Canada are now emerging.
12% increase immediately for the junior flight attendants, 8% for the more senior flight attendants, and then progressively through the contract, 3.5%, 3%, and then 2.5%.
Some industry watchers say the pay grade for cabin crew with less than 5 years of service will still fall short of what some U.S. carriers offer their staff. The biggest shift? Getting paid for time worked while on the ground. CTV News has confirmed the airline is offering 50% of their hourly rate as ground pay for 60 minutes of work when boarding a narrow-body aircraft and 70 minutes for larger planes. The ground pay rate will also increase to 70% by the time the deal expires in 4 years. Workers are expected to vote on the deal next week.
It was Ottawa to Toronto, Toronto to Lisbon, Lisbon to Porto, and Porto to Gatwick. So we've got quite a few connections to make.
We were told that if we don't get this flight, then we won't be home until September the 3rd.
Thousands of passengers are still trying to get to their destinations, and many are now trying to figure out how to recoup the costs of their canceled flights. Some rebooked on other airlines. Others were stuck paying for extended hotel stays, and some people hopped on buses and trains. Air Canada has said they will cover some costs, including rebooked flights and possibly other modes of transportation. But at this point, of the over 500,000 customers that were affected, it's unclear who will qualify. Well, the Canadian Union of Postal Workers has now presented a new offer to Canada Post. This is the two sides resume negotiations. The union is asking for higher wages while allowing for the addition of weekend delivery and part-time workers. The new proposal includes annual wage increases of 9% in the first year and 4% in the second year, followed by hikes of 3% in years 3 and 4. That's up from the roughly 13% over 4 years that was included in Canada Post's most recent offer back in May. Canada Post says it's reviewing the union's offer. Additional negotiations are scheduled for tomorrow and Monday. Well, a Cape Breton couple has plenty to celebrate these days, including 75 years of wedded bliss.
Time flies, and all too quickly, all too quickly.
Well said. It was on August 16th, 1950, that this blushing couple said their I do's. Ray and Jean McKay got married in a little white church along the Cabot Trail on Cape Breton Island. 3/4 of a century later, they were showered with cards and well wishes from family and friends. They have 4 children, 7 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren, with more on the way. Another milestone to mention, at 102 years young, Ray is also known for being one of the oldest church organists in the country.